ready for all of this. Bone chicken wow.
No bum chicka wawa, right?
You
He got hooked on the Caribbean sweetness, by the way. Don't let him fool you, audience.
you took it. See, the whole Trini came out in it.
Right. Let's go back.
It's so funny because you guys are starting to see the real Shy.
Oh my God.
Joking, and then they said,
Well, you better take that part out because I wasn't ready.
That's you.
Hi, everyone. Hi, people.
Gotta be ready.
Positive
Stay ready.
people.
So this is Bilal and
Shaeeda.
welcome to another podcast.
Another podcast. It's so strange how we pronounce it differently. Say podcast.
No, I say podcast.
Podcast.
I don't pronounce the D. I guess it's pod. I say podcast.
P-O-D. We pronounce our O's like O's. You all pronounce your O's like A's. So you all say podcast.
We
say
don't also,
podcast.
I got a little different dialect a little bit.
Okay.
Coming from Midwest slang, a little Southern slang. So not everybody like in America like pronounces the words the exact same.
Well, okay. I wouldn't taint everyone with the same brush.
Don't taint everybody because I know sometimes, like, KC, St. Louis-ish, the way we...
Different.
You heard of Nelly.
Yeah,
right?
different ways to pronounce.
Dar, so. It is what it is.
What's the topic, hon?
The topic today, we were discussing just about like relationships and just the beauty of having a relationship, the beauty of like being in love and being equally loved back. And we were just thinking about like how unfortunate though so many people haven't found like their queen and their prince, charming, and how I think majority of people like want to be loved and want to be in love, you know, and they're searching for like the right woman or the Mr. Right, so to speak, etc. And so it just kind of got us to thinking, and we got into a conversation. We was like, let's save it for maybe this podcast. And then we started talking about like, in this day and age with, everybody having the same, we're striving for equal rights and everything like that. Like who should shoot their shot first? It's obviously it's custom for the man to say, that's the woman.
To do it first,
I want to be with the woman. Let me go after that woman. And boom. But is it okay in our day and age? Is it okay for a woman to say, you know what? There's a nice looking man. He presents himself well. He handles himself well. I like what I see. Like, let me approach him first. Is that okay?
What do you guys think? Is that okay? Because I have a story to share with you all. I think some of the viewers probably are aware. Some of you guys probably know how Bilal and I met. Yes, I was sliding his DMs. I was the one who made the first move. Only because it was a bet between my girlfriend and myself. It was like a few days after my 35th birthday, and I went out. She took me out for some lunch, and she was asking me, hey Shy, girl chat, is there anyone you're seeing? And I always have a library of different guy friends.
She said a library.
Yeah. Bilal was actually...
Was you a player?
I was not a player. But I was keeping my options open, which I should be doing. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket when, things, tend not to work out. So I was like, get to know different brothers here and there. Not at the same time.
Not at the same time.
Not at the same time.
So you wasn't getting to know, like, a few brothers at the same time ever.
If it was at the same time, it was a respectable getting to know, like, how are you, what you doing, how is your day, nothing too deep at all. So she was like, Bilal was actually on the back burner in my library of men.
So library men, I was out.
He was the bottom. He was number 10, right?
Wow.
He was with the only. I would let you guys know why he was number 10.
My confidence, she just.
I will let you guys know. Allow me to
True,
finish
true,
my
true,
story
true.
right. So my girlfriend was just like, so any of these guys serious? And I was like, I've been talking to this one for some months, blah blah blah. She was like, so I should up going to the library, and she was like, watching the pictures, and after we looked at your picture, and she was like, how about this one? And I was like, oh, that one is probably married. I thought Bilal was in a relationship because he was the type of guy who used to come online, not spend a lot of time online, then he would log off and you would never hear from him within a whole 7 days or sometimes 14 days. So he was never consistent online. So I was like, this person is either working really hard, this person is married, he probably in a relationship. Hence why he was the last one on the list. So she was just
So
like,
I was the last one on the list because you thought I was in a relationship.
I thought you were in a relationship, but I was attracted to you, hence why you made it on the list.
Okay.
But she was like, you know what? When was the last time he messaged you? I was like, you saying that to me. We just had a conversation like 2 days ago. She was like, well, that was recent. I was like, yeah, but he's not consistent. She was like, what is the conversation like? I was like, well, there's something I observe that Bilal does. I was like, he's normally not the type to heart women's pictures, but I noticed he started to heart my story posts. So she was like, ooh, that probably means he's telling you something. And I was like, yeah, it could be, because me, I am a complete Sherlock Holmes when it comes to men. I want to put on investigation hat, have my magnifying glass to do my research, going on his profile, see how he responds to women, and he never gave a thirsty response. He never.
So you was researching.
Yes, I was. You told people thank you. You were not thank you, sweetheart, thank you, babes. I was like, okay, I like his language. He's not calling every female on his social media baby, babes, and giving wink eye and hearts and stuff. I was like, okay, I like a guy who does things like that. I said, but he hearts my story, so that he's probably telling me that he's interested. Were you interested back then?
No, when I seen you, I was like, oh wow, who's this? Like seriously. And we had a few friends in common.
Listen, we have to tell the viewers this. Bilal and I probably had 100 and something mutual friends
we had a lot of
on social media. It was just strange that we never came across each other late, but we had friends like some of my friends who I started off my social media with. Bilal were part of Bilal's community. That's to tell you how long, but we never crossed each other.
Very small world.
Yeah, very small world. We had so much mutual friends. So it was just like a matter of time before you and I meet each other because of so many mutual friends.
And so I looked and I was like, wow, who's that? Then you kind of, maybe I guess I went into my detective mode and kind of, you look at their profile and everything, and then you see Trinidad and Tobago, you're like, oh snap, like they're not even from the States, I
think for you were like, you only want to date someone who was within America. You were not looking for someone from another country.
Yeah, I wasn't, because I was like, I talked to somebody like previously before you who were, from another country, but not like that far, far away. And, obviously things didn't work, etc. But you're kind of like, do you want to talk to somebody from another country again? Like I already knew like having a long distance relationship was okay for me. Because, I've been, had a lot of different long distance relationships, but they've been like in the country.
In America.
Yeah, so like me flying to go see them, they lived in California or Florida, whatever, is no problem.
So let me get back to my story. So my girlfriend was like, seeing that this one, he has his stories, he hasn't been doing that a lot of his female, friends on social media, maybe he's telling you something. And then she made a bet. You guys, I always tell this story. She was like, do me a favor. I was like, what is that? She was like, when you go back home, message him and ask him if he is interested. I remember I was eating a nice hamburger and I had some juice. I was just like, I spit out everything.
You
spit
out
like,
the burger?
No way. She was like, yeah. She was like, because she normally shoot her shot. In her relationships. She had her recent.
And she's a very successful
businesswoman, and she's telling me, you know what, I shoot my shot in my last relationship. I the one who asked the brother if
Yeah.
if he's serious about marriage, and he was, he was like, yeah, and they got married. So I was like, oh my god, but that don't work for me. There's some things that a woman should not do. Like, no, I'm not gonna shoot my shot. She was like, you're 35 years old. I was like, oh yes. This was like 3 days after my 35th birthday, or a week.
Yeah.
She was like,
35th what?
35th birthday.
That's not how she says birthday. She said
Birthday, right?
Yeah, she said birthday.
So she was like, it's, you're 35 years old. Just see if it works out. She was like, at our age, you have, it's either yes or no. We move on. We don't feel sad and embarrassed because time is, the clock is ticking, and we are mature, and we're not looking for an immature guy who'll be like, oh my god, you actually want to date? You actually interested in me? She was like, you're getting to know a man, and a man will tell you yes or no, and you move on. She was like, I was like, no, that's a good point. She was like, and he looks mature. He looks like he knows what he's about. Just send the brother a message for me.
Hit the DMs.
I was like, okay. Before we left, she hold on to me. She was like, you have to promise me. And I was like, man, do I have to promise her? She was like, you have to promise me that when you go back home, you're going to do what I say and send me a message to make sure that you do it. And I gave her my word because she was so nice to me. She took me out for my birthday. This is a sweet sister of mine, a great friend. And I said, you know what? I am going to do it. I went back home. I was nervous. I was like, oh my God, I remember watching the time. It's 6 o'clock. I haven't done it yet. I was like, oh my God, when is Bilal coming online? And it was like around 8 o'clock. Bilal is online. It's saying Bilal online. You know how it works on Facebook? Bilal is
Does it
online.
actually says
online? Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, let me go ahead and do this. Now, ladies, I have never walked up to a brother or sent him a message on social media to say, hey brother, I'm interested in you. This is something I haven't never done in my life. For all my life, it has always been brothers reaching out to me to ask to be in a relationship.
Hence why she has the lie.
Oh, brothers want to get to know me. I shouldn't say in a relationship because we know in Islam we don't date, but when I say in a relationship, I mean get to know me for marriage. Just to see how intended, yeah. So I decided to be bold and brave and send Bilal a message. And that message, I was very blatant. I didn't beat around the bush. I said, hello, assalamu alaikum. He replied back, walaikum assalam, how are you? I was like, I'm good. I was like, okay, let me go ahead and just send one big long paragraph because if I break it up in pieces, I'll be nervous. So I was like, I noticed you have been hearting some of my story pictures and posts, and it's something you don't do regularly to other women. Are you trying to tell me something? Again, I tried to make it I tried to make it be about me without being too direct.
She does that a lot.
You trying to tell me something? Like, are you interested? And after, I didn't know how it happened after that. Then I asked him if he was seeing someone, but I remember Bilal typing back, and let me tell you something. That was the longest 30 seconds of my life. Because you're seeing Bilal is typing,
you
and yeah, and I was like,
oh, typing.
After the edit that made me much too shit. We put something. You guys see how excited I'm getting. I was like, oh gosh. What he's saying, he probably saying, I'm sorry if you're getting the wrong impression, I didn't mean to, to lead you along. So I was so nervous. Then after a message sent, whoop, I read the message and it wasn't bad, he was very respectable. He was just like, first he started off being like, I think you're a wonderful person, I love your how you care about yourself. I think you're amazing. And I was like, where's the but? Where's the but? Where's the but? I'm sure there's going to be a but. There was a but.
There wasn't a but.
Yeah.
I don't even use language like but.
Yes.
That's just on TV.
Yeah.
But other than that.
So he was like, but I think he was like, but I think you are seeing someone or something like that. He was like, but I think I think you're probably getting to know someone else. And I was like, no, I'm not getting to know anyone else. And after he said something really sweet to me, he was like, when you're ready, let me know. I thought that was the best line in the entire world. I love that line up to today because I think I sent him back a sad face because I was telling him, I'm not seeing anyone, but why aren't you like answering me? Because I'm asking you if you've seen anyone. And I sent him back a sad face, and he was just like, whenever you're ready, let me know. And I was like, yes, I won. I was so happy because it sounds so sweet because he's telling me that he's there, he's just waiting for me to be ready. So, and that's it. And the rest is history. You guys probably know the rest. And that's how him and I connected. Now, if would have never made that move, what would have been our story today? He would have continued to like probably date other women from America. I would have probably been looking to find the right person.
Well, let me say this though. So because we were friends for a number of years, right, beforehand. So I don't think neither one of us kind of looking at it. Then finally, I think it was like, oh, snap, and I would like a picture, she would like a picture, a heart a picture, vice versa, and then every blue moon was like a DM was sent just to kind of check in. She was into fashion, and she asked me about like an upcoming show. Like she asked me about a subject. I'm not into like I'm into fashion, but not like a model type thing. And she asked me something that was like pretty cool because she was going through something. And I thought like, wow, like we don't even know each other for her to reach out to me. That was pretty cool of her to do.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of kept it like that. And then we every now and then we'll just mess each other or make a comment on each other's posts. And I was actually like inquiring, talking to another sister in the States, and she was a really cool person. However, her dynamic was different because she had children, and the likelihood of her moving to where I was at was very slim because her, children's father, her, prior marriage, like probably would have made that happen. So when you came and I started looking, and I was like, I seen you in Trinidad, like for real, I was like, here he goes again, probably another situation where a person probably can't come here. So I really didn't give it that much weight, even though I was attracted to you. And then when you reached out, like expressing interest, I was like, oh wow, she does have it. I didn't know, because I wouldn't even, I think men are probably like just blind sometimes. Like I wouldn't have known unless she blatantly said that. I wouldn't have. I thought she was just cool, whatever. And then she expressed interest, and then I was like, oh snap. Then that's when I started to think like, yeah, she lives in a whole nother country, and I knew she was in the Caribbean. I didn't even know exactly where Trinidad was. I knew it was in the Caribbean, but I didn't even know. And then I like looked on the map. Yeah, and I was like, wow, it's literally like South America.
But I was living under a rock in the year 2019. He didn't know where Trinidad was. He was acting like he didn't know WhatsApp.
Hold on. I know it's in the Caribbean, but I didn't know like where at.
He didn't even know WhatsApp. Like I was just talking to my mom this morning, and I was telling her, I don't really use WhatsApp. Yeah. And she was like, what?
Yeah,
I was like, since I've been in America, I don't use WhatsApp because a lot of Americans don't use WhatsApp to communicate. I was like, but it's more popular like places out of America. So he didn't know WhatsApp. Like I actually had to tell him to download WhatsApp for us to talk, because we don't want to keep our messages on social media,
Yeah, that's how we were talking.
Talking on Facebook. Yeah. We talked on Facebook like for 3 months before, probably 2 months. 2 months.
Yeah.
Oh, 6
Then she was finally like, brother, are you gonna ask me for your number? Or,
I was like, why is this guy not taking it to the phone? Like he's still he said he's interested. I'm interested, and the next move should have been, okay, can we like, what's your number?
See,
Bilal was still communicating on Facebook.
We're communicating, but I was
also, like, why? Like all these Facebook messages, like we had a whole ton.
I'm also like being very, very respectful. Any woman who's I've talked to can attest. Like I'm not one of those guys like send me pictures or give me this or give me that. Like I don't do that, because I know, one, that's not, women don't like that, one, but two, like I don't think that's a way that you.
Yeah, he was very respectable.
Yeah, so, and I was just like, let's get to know each other, and like in Islam's like, okay, you have a wali, like should I talk to your mom or your father, whatever,
It took a while to open up. It was not very easy when it comes to opening up, and even when we did our first video chat, we did it in a hotel because he was working. He was always
Now, not in a hotel, like just cause, but I
work
work.
relations
Like I
and
literally
travel.
would travel every weekend,
Yeah,
and I'm always in a hotel.
hence why, this leads us back to what happened on the television show, 90 Fiancé. Hence why I've never seen his home, because
Yeah,
he used to always, like,
because I'm
when
always
it's
traveling. I'm
always
always
traveling, and
traveling.
when he's home like for 3 days, 4 days, and when he has to send me, like, when we video call, he will do it behind a white wall. So I've never seen like the kitchen area, the living room area, the dining room area. It was always
It would be like
secretive.
I'm like on the like this,
Yeah.
and we're talking.
It was so
You know,
weird. Like, I was like, why this guy don't, like, is he real? Is he hiding something? So,
yeah.
it is what it is, So, but he got hooked on the Caribbean sweetness, by the way. Don't let him fool you.
No, no. Once she made it known that she was interested, then I think that's when, and I think that's kind of like what leads us to the topic where that's what, like, when she said she was interested, then it was like, okay, now kind of like, I don't say game one, but that's when the natural instincts of a man, you become, the hunter, so to
Yeah.
speak, right? And then she takes a step back and like, I expressed interest, though, let me see what this man's gonna do.
So I made my first move. I slid in his DMs.
Yeah.
And after that, he was like a puppy with his tongue outside.
No, I wasn't like that. But I let it be known, like,
I want to come to Trinidad.
I was like, no, I did say this. I said, you know what? Here's the thing. I know you get this because she expressed. Obviously, we both have interesting parties. People were interested in you, myself, and I was like, I know you probably hear this all the time because she told me in some form or fashion that people are like, oh, I'm gonna come to Trinidad, and it never happens.
It never happened. Listen, after that, Bill took 5 minutes, and then he booked his ticket to Trinidad.
And I said,
5 minutes later.
I said, I've always been a man of my word.
Yeah, he did.
Right?
He was too
so
happy.
Anything that I tell you I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do. So I like, if things continue to improve and increase, etc., I'm gonna come to Trinidad.
He booked his ticket. He was like, "Ya Allah, finally, I am going down to Trinidad to Nika and get some."
Definitely not say that. Definitely didn't say that.
You be honest with the people.
Baby, I don't need to go to
people.
Trinidad for do that. One, could keep myself, waiting for marriage. And two, if I need it, like if I wanted that, like there's this is America.
This
baby.
is
Like,
modest Bilal for you guys.
It like I don't think any guy or woman for that matter, if you
He
look
wanted
half
the
decent.
Caribbean sweetness. Yeah. Oh, yeah, let me tell you there's something.
Yeah.
He was watching them yoga poses.
The process was nice. Nice.
I'm just playing with you guys. Just play. So back to the topic. It is okay for a woman to make the first move, but I would say this: don't make it a habitual practice to do it.
So let's say
my case.
Let's say this. All right, you have because you obviously I think way more women probably watch the show, watch this than men. So you got a lot of women that are out there. Some of them are killing it in their careers, business, and some of them may already been in relationships. Things didn't work out. They may have children, but they're still searching for Mr. Right. And let's say they're getting a little bit older. They're maybe in their mid to late 30s or even beyond in their 40s, etc. So they're not like spring chicken, so to speak, as far as like early 20s.
Yeah.
What advice would you give for them to say, like, hey, if you see a man who's out there doing man things, taking care of his family, like if he has children, being a gentleman, excelling in his career, or being business savvy, to being active in his community and giving back, and obviously he may look nice, and he dresses this type of way, like, and he has good demeanor about himself. Like, if a woman sees that in a man, what should she do?
Well, I would say this to our viewers, our female viewers. I feel like if you are at a certain age and you have been doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same results and nothing working out, that means you have to change your strategy. And this is something I had a discussion with one of my sisters, and I was telling her the same thing. Now, I was accustomed to men getting, saying, sister, I want to get to know you
Beating
for
down your door.
marriage.
Yeah, yeah.
But it never worked out. And I felt like, man, like I've been doing this since what? The first time I got to know someone, I was like 23 years old, was a brother, and he met my mom and stuff like that. And things didn't work out. So I was like 35. I was like, I keep doing the same thing over and over, waiting for Mr. Right to arrive. Think it's Mr. Right when it comes, and after things don't work out. So if you feel like you've been doing the same thing over and over and getting the same results when nothing works out, it's time to switch your strategy. Now, for me, Bilal was the first brother I actually reached out to say I'm interested in him and want to know where things can go. It worked out. That is just an indication. Sometimes you have to switch it up. Now, I would not suggest you make it a habitual practice that every guy that you like, if you approach and want to get to know for marriage and whatever, etc.
Now let's say
But
this.
for a lot of women out there are a lot of women who are just waiting. For Mr. Right. They career driven, or they doing their thing and they're just waiting for that man to knock on the front door or
Kind of
send
fall out
them
of the sky.
or fall from the sky or come in your DM. Sometimes he is right there in front of you, but sometimes you have to give out that too. A lot of women, we are closed up, and I don't blame us for being closed, because we have been hurt by so many manipulative, evil men out there that is just pretend that they are interested.
Right.
And after, when they get to know us or get close to us, they leave. And we feel like we let down our guard for them, and now we have to build up walls.
Yeah.
So it's really hard. So hence why a lot of women, we kind of, we fall back. We're waiting for this brother to come into our life, but sometimes you have to know. Like for me, I saw signs that Bilal was interested in me. Now I'm not telling you guys to go out there and just go to any random guy and say, hey, can I marry you? I want to marry. No, you have to get some signs.
Do your homework and everything.
You have to see that, he has to be given some kind of signals that he's interested. He might be sending you messages and have a beautiful day, wishing you well, and you feel like this brother is showing interest, but he hasn't really said, oh, let's go out on a first date. Let me get to know you.
Now, what about this though? What about, and I'm gonna throw a couple of things in the mix with you. What if, because I know a lot of times we're talking social media, because that's like the new age of meeting somebody.
Yeah.
But what if you're just out and about and you are, I don't know, you're coming home from work and you had to stop to get to the grocery store and you see a nice brother, right? No wedding ring on, anything like that, and like, what do? Like, do you?
You could look for small talk. You have try not to be corny and too obvious. That's a nice shirt. That's a nice pants. So you buying a Snicker bar? That's exactly what my mom like. That's my mom's favorite Snicker bar. He was, oh my god, you like this candy? Or he probably would have on a sports t-shirt and be like, that's my team. Something that he would want to strike that conversation. Just do it. Sometimes we want to stay in the grocery line or in the gas station if you're going to the quick shop, and we see someone that we like and we just thinking, oh, he's coming across to approach us. No, sometimes you could do it, just say something nice, not too cheesy. Say something nice and polite and see his response there. And that could be just a little bit of, having a little something in the door that could work for you.
Now, here's the interesting thing is that a lot of times men, when they, I don't know, like they're like, if they're like focused on something, let's say if it's their like their career, their business, they're trying to get off the ground or whatever, they can be so focused where they have blinders on, and they don't like necessarily like catch like the subtle hints that a person may be giving you. Let's say if it's online and like she's in the, saying something. So are you saying it's okay for a woman to be a little bit more forward in some cases if he doesn't catch like the subtle hints?
It could be a little forward, not too forward, but a little forward. For me, I was giving Bilal signs that I was interested in him. I added him to my close friends list on social media.
But I didn't catch it.
He didn't catch it. Like I don't know. Like he didn't realize that
blinders on.
He didn't realize that this person that he never met before, never really had much conversations with, added him to her close friends list. Bilal didn't care.
I didn't even know what close friends was.
Bilal didn't notice that little green ring around the circle on your profile. He didn't notice any of those things. So I'm not.
I must admit, I mean, I'm pretty novice when it comes to certain things. I have, like, you taught me a lot from social media standpoint, but there's a lot of stuff that I had no clue, no idea about when it comes to that stuff.
So I realized that even little messages, Happy New Year,
Yeah, I remember those.
because the first time we met, we were friends first. Was I always remember it. It was October 2017. That was the first time I saw Bilal Aziz send me a friend request. So we were social media friends
See,
before.
and I sent you a friend request.
You sent me a friend request, but there were no conversation. He's like one of those people, those ghost followers who just wanna send you a request and never say anything to you. He was like one of those. Hence why I put him at the bottom of the list, because I always thought he was in a relationship. But he probably had a lot going on in his life, hence why he's not really looking for love in a next country. And for me, I was not looking for love in America. I was my ideal place was England. Like I wanted
Yeah,
to
you already told me
go England. I thought that I know I would have never settled in Trinidad. But if someone would have told me like 5 years back you're going to like make your life in America, I would have been like hell no.
Yeah.
Hence why I needed a visa to come to America. Let me tell you something. And my Caribbean people could back me up. There are certain countries that people run down, like international people just to get a visa to come to America. But Caribbean people, we have always been ambitious. Part of our life cycle is working, and after when you start your work and you got your car and you finish school and you have a permanent job, you apply for a tourist visa, American tourist visa. So a lot of Trinidadians, we come to America based on tourist visas. We don't come to America to try to get a green card, and this is for other Caribbean islands too, right?
Yeah.
So for me to not to have a tourist visa, being in Trinidad, was just like she probably just don't want to go to America.
Yeah.
Because because when we started to talk, he was like, "You come up for Thanksgiving." Remember, you told me that, thinking I had a visa. He was like, "Come up to America for Thanksgiving. I want you to meet my family." And I was like, "Brother, I don't have a visa."
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I still don't know why you didn't have a visa.
It was never like on my list.
Even though I know you didn't want to move here, but like
to travel, no.
most people still, because you're not so far away.
Yeah.
Because you're in the Caribbean.
I remember applying for like little transit visas to probably go to other countries, but it was never like a full blown tourist visa.
Yeah, because most people want to go to like a New York, a Miami, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because they see it and hear about
Not
it.
me. I was dreaming about other places,
She was dreaming about Kansas City.
No, I wasn't. So back to our topic.
So let me ask you this. Okay, so let's say as a woman, let's say you seen a brother, you shoot your shot, and nothing developed from there, right? The brother, he might have been in a relationship, or he just wasn't interested in getting into a relationship at the moment. Maybe it was just a timing thing, or maybe he just wasn't interested even in the particular person, because it happens. What suggestion do you have for that person? Like, should they do it again for another person, or should they abandon the mission, no longer approaching a guy again ever in their life, and just
that is always the wrong approach. You have to dust yourself off, and you gotta try again with someone new.
She hit you with the Aaliyah quote.
No, you have to try again with someone new. I think when I'm referring to shoot your shot, I'm speaking about mature women. And when I said tell it to the audience, I'm not speaking about teenagers or young adults in their early 20s. I'm speaking about people who are going on to 30, people in their early 30s and mid 30s, late 30s, 40s. That's the age category I'm referring to. Never a teenager. Those guys are not serious. They're just looking to play. I'm talking about women who are looking for marriage and to settle down for the rest of your life. When they reach a certain age and they realize that, I haven't found Mr. Right. Sometimes Mr. Right, like what I said earlier on, Mr. Right is right there. He's right there. He's standing in front of you. He's somewhere. He's probably in your close circles. But you're just so closed up and you're thinking, oh, I have to wait for the guy to make the first move, And sometimes it could be you. Sometimes you have to open up yourself more, and then he might make his first move. Or sometimes he just, like Bilal, he just block off, busy doing his thing, and you might have to be the one to make your first move. But I'll only say this: women, make your first move once you see signs in that person that they are interested in you. I'm not telling you to go to a random stranger like what I said earlier on to make your first move. You have to make your first move with somebody you're already connected with. whether you're all in the same group, you all do things together, you see, he giving you smiles, gestures, like that. That way you're feeling like if I make my first move, he's giving me some sort of indication that he's interested. Not someone who is just not speaking to you and you're going up like a mad lady. Hello, brother, I want to get to know you. Are you married? Let us get married.
So on the caveat to that though, right, is that okay, let's say she makes her first move, a brother who is in their circle or even a person who's a friend. Now, what if things didn't work out? Now it's like, oh man, like that friendship is kind of tainted a little bit, or it's going to be a little awkward because that person is in the same circle. Now, when you see that brother, and it's like, oh man, he knew that I was interested, versus trying to talk to somebody who you don't know from Adam, and it's like, oh, okay, I shot my shot or shoot my shot and it didn't work, and I'll never see that person again.
I know that you could do it both ways. I'm not going to limit people to say, oh, and only do it for people who you can never see again, like people on social media. Because a lot of people not on social media, and that's the next thing to women. If you feel like you don't need social media to find someone, and you're still single, thinking you're going to find the person by, you walk in, you go into the same religious institution like you are, just try it. Try social media. I mean, there are a lot of predators on social media, just like there are a lot of predators walking around everywhere. But you have to know how to maneuver and be smart when you create your profile to look for someone. Like I would say, majority of my sisters found their husbands on social media, right? And I found mine.
Yeah.
Yes, my family has had a good, and they're
used
all
to be
still married.
Like a little ashamed to say.
Even my recent sister who got married, remarried, she found her husband on TikTok. Like, are you serious? Yeah. Now that's the last place I would like to find someone, because everyone seems so not ready on TikTok.
She's younger, right?
Yeah, so everyone seems playful on TikTok.
Younger TikTok.
They are married now. Like they are in a marriage and things are going good. Alhamdulillah for that. So there are different ways. I would never find my spouse on TikTok.
I used to be ashamed, like to say like, oh, like I met my mate on social media, because like just like our generation, it was an awkward thing to like meet somebody. For me, I'm just speaking for me.
Yeah, from that old man generation, people he's taking us back to the
same generation, baby. To meet somebody and say online or on a dating site and all that. But obviously, things have changed drastically. Where it's actually okay. Yeah. In some regards, it's actually okay. Cool now.
Before, back in the day, like the late 90s, early 2000s, it had a stigma with meeting someone online.
Like if you met somebody on
I think after, even before COVID, and COVID kind of helped and made it even more regularly, it's nothing to meet someone online.
Yeah, it's not.
It's like meeting someone
I literally have a great friend that I've introduced you to, and you became really good friends with. They met on Tinder.
Yeah.
And got married. And
it's nothing to meet someone online. Yeah. It's nothing. It's no longer. It isn't no longer have that negative stigma attached to it. It's okay. It's all right. So, ladies, is the next thing. Like my girlfriend, I just told my girlfriend recently. She's been single and things has not been working out when she meet people at her religious institution. So I told her to go on social media. Now she has never had a social media. She don't even know how to operate it. She had her friends back home help her. Yesterday I was telling her how to send a message on social media. She don't know anything. And I told her this. I said, listen, this could be the way you're going to meet your future husband. She was like, you think so? I say, anything is possible. Anything is possible. So I'm so happy that she finally got on social media.
Yeah. So it's cool for a woman to shoot her shot.
It's absolutely cool for a woman to shoot her shot. I like the term you use. Now listen to us. It's cool for a woman to shoot her shot. I didn't say girl. A woman and a girl is two different things. Like a boy and a man is two different things. A woman who is mature, who's ready for marriage, who's ready to meet a husband and a life partner. Not a girl who's looking to have fun. She just looking to play around, looking for a guy, on her level to do the same thing. For a woman, yes, it's absolutely cool for her to shoot her first shot.
And it's so interesting because you saying that made me think about, like, in our religion, there's a story about Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that when he was very, a young man, that we would say like a young adult. He had a woman who is very renowned in our religion, a lady Khadija, or Khadija, radiallahu anha, and she was a very successful businesswoman.
Mm-hmm.
She was very known.
And she
She was older than him. She was 15 years older than him, and he was actually working for her.
And she approached
and
him.
He was helping excel her business.
Mm-hmm.
She had much more than him. But he was an asset to her, an asset to her business, increase it like multiple fold, where to the degree where he was traveling and commerce and everything like that. And she was like, man, like, who's this guy who's known as Alameen, trustworthy one, and he's this, he's that. Like, is he married?
She approached him first.
Holler at that brother, right?
Yeah.
So she actually approached him, as you mentioned first. And they ended up getting married, and she was 40 years old, he was 25.
Yeah.
So, just saying that you could be a successful woman, and then again, this is back in, over 1,400 years ago, right? So you could still be a very successful woman, be, a great mother, to your children, and just all these other accolades that you may have. But if you see a person, a guy who meets the qualifications that you're looking for, it's okay to say, you know what? Let me inquire about him. Even if you don't necessarily shoot your shot directly, you maybe even inquire and say, hey, like, I have a friend. Can you, like, see if he's interested in me, or this and that? Kind of go that route too.
I agree. Makes sense.
Yeah. But guys gotta go out there and like step up too. Yeah.
Listen, he could tell you kind of tell you guys to step up, and you and I met and you didn't step up. Like I'm the one who slide into your DMs. So what has hurt me about this, you guys? I told Bella.
I'm trying to inspire the guy. She just threw me on the bus. I'm saying, yes,
I told Bilal,
she shot. Hold
if
on.
you would have.
Yes, she shot in my DMs, but after she acknowledged or told me this, then I did my part.
He did his part.
I went out. You didn't come to here. I went out there.
He went out. Oh yes, he did.
I spent my bucks.
But when I'm saying that, because it just we women, we always remember things that men tell us that could strike an argument. I remember he told me if I would have never slid into his DMs, he would have never slide into mine, and so we would have never been together.
That is correct.
But he told me that.
It was me saying that you didn't tell the rest of the part.
What?
It was because I was very respectful towards you. I wasn't going to like slide in your DMs in some fabid way of like being disrespectful and like, yeah, sister, do. So, and again, another thing that we already talked about was the fact that you were living in another country, and for me, I wasn't.
That was a stretch for you. You
wasn't looking for somebody.
But that hurt my feelings. Like it still continued to hurt my feelings because
it shouldn't hurt your feelings.
Yeah, because it makes me think that if I would have never made the first move, you would have never thought.
That should actually do the exact opposite. It should be like, you know what? Because I made that move, that we are blessed to be together. So you can look at anything from a positive standpoint or a negative standpoint, just about how you look at the situation.
Okay, I guess so. But it would have been nice for him to reply and say, you know what, if you didn't, I guess in my little fairy tale mind, I'm thinking he would have been like, oh, if you never slide into my DMs, I would have definitely slide into yours. I guess I was looking for that type of response, which I didn't get.
See, I think you like...
It's all good, it's all good. At the end of the day, at least I slid into your DMs, which brought us together. So.
Yeah. You can't have it both ways, though.
What do you mean?
Like, sometimes it's okay to take initiative. If you take initiative in life, you made some comments. You talked about that if you continue to keep doing the same thing over and over again, it reminds me of one of the definitions of insanity.
Yeah.
It said doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So if you're doing the same thing over and over again, looking for that Mr. Right, and it's not working, you gotta switch it up.
I understand, babe, and I agree, but at the same time, that's just my woman instincts, trying not to feel 100% responsible for this relationship. Like I,
You're not
you
100%
know,
responsible
thinking
because
that
it
I'm the
always
one who
takes
made the
two.
initiative, and
That
if it
doesn't
wasn't for me, we
mean
would have not been
that
together.
doesn't mean that it was 100% you. It just means that you took the first step to actually say you were interested. But after you did that, it wasn't like you kept pursuing me.
No, it was no. You no.
Started to pursue you.
It's true. It's
So
true.
there wasn't. So it
In
wasn't.
his defense, that is
so
true.
it wasn't a one-way thing.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Right or wrong.
You're right. Like I said, in your defense, you're talking it through. Yes. So I did. I made a first step, but he continued.
By the way, doesn't she look very, very beautiful in this nice robe?
Thank you.
Do you know we just kind of like walk around the house in our robes? Just saying. Bone chicken wow. Just saying. Bone chicken wow.
No bone chicka wawa, right?
You
Back to this audience.
You took it. See, the whole Trini came out in there.
Right. Should a woman shoot her shot in a man's DMs, or should she make the first move? Yes, absolutely, it's okay. This is for all the women who have been doing the same thing over and over. Like myself, getting the same results, nothing is working out, thinking that guy's supposed to show up at her front door, fall from the sky, be right by her car window when she drives. No, sometimes it's okay to make the first move, my ladies, but you have to be smart and intelligent when you make the move. You have to do it with someone that you see some chemistry with, and someone that you're thinking, because you know you always get that feeling, like we know when someone like us, but there's just something that you get in the feeling that okay, this brother is interested in you, but there's just something that is their barrier that is preventing you guys from communicating. You must feel that feeling. So that's what I am referring to. So it's okay, my ladies, please slide into that brother's DM and see if he is interested. I'm giving him an assignment. Go and see that guy who has been giving you those eyes. Approach him. Excuse me, you like this? You like me? What's going on? You're sending these mixed signals every time I'm walking across the street. You're giving me these looks.
Is he whistling?
No, I'm not talking about street hacklers. I'm talking about people who, of substance. So it's okay to do it, my ladies. And that's what I would
She's talking about, like, if you see their brother with a nice suit on and he's eating a nice meal by himself and he has no wedding ring on.
Yeah. And you're probably going to that same cafe every day and seeing the same person. It's okay, strike a conversation, see where it goes.
Yeah. There you have it.
There you have it. Bye. It was so nice to have you guys join us again.
Well, we hope you all enjoy this episode of our podcast. Be on the lookout for more. Again, make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you hit that bell for notifications.
And you're looking so handsome. By the way, people, Bilal has some really wonderful man feet. I know there are not a lot of men with good feet. He has really nice toes. I love his toes.
I don't think they can see my toes, actually.
No, they can't. He has really nice feet. I think the time you posted a picture when he was somewhere with his feet, and I commented. As before him and I started to talk, and I was like, you got great toes for a man.
For a man.
You remember when I said that to you?
I know you suck it on my hands.
Yeah, he has really nice hands and feet.
But, yeah.
Okay.
But guys, you gotta make sure you take care of yourself. Get a spa, manicure, pedicure every now and then. I remember the first time I got one of those. Like, they put me up front. I was so embarrassed. Like, why do you guys put me up front where everybody can see? It was in the mall. Anyway,
everyone.
That's another story.
So you guys take care. Assalamu alaikum. Goodbye.
All right, positive peeps. Peace out.